morning, everyone. John Nolan, so glad to have you along. We'll be with you until 12:30, sharing the inspiring stories of those who are participating in this 7th edition of Fort4Fitness, as well as those who make this event popular and make it possible. It's the largest road race in Northeast Indiana, bringing together people from all corners of not just the state of Indiana, but the United States, as well as overseas. 3 different countries represented in this race, bringing everyone together, getting off the couch in the name of getting healthy and getting fit. It's become something that started as just a local community event and now has blossomed and grown into something much bigger, making an impact on the lives of so many, and again, all in the good name of getting healthy. It's going to be a special and exciting day here at Parkview Field, home of the TinCaps, but today, as you can see behind us right now, this ballpark has been transformed into the finish line for Fort4Fitness just behind us over there, and we expect the first runners from the 10K race, which got underway at 7:30, to be coming across that finish line in the next 5 or so minutes. And today it's the 10K as well as the half marathon and the 4-mile run walk, all taking place in downtown Fort Wayne. And so we'll be joined by the participants from those races, the winners as well as those who didn't win, but everyone's a winner today, and who have shared some of the more inspiring stories from this race. We'll also be joined by the likes of Brad Kimmel, the executive director of Fort4Fitness, and Tim Kennedy, a man who helped to found this race, and a race that has now changed the lives of so many. So we've got that coming up. We've got so much. We'll be joined by some of the volunteers, the charity partners. It's going to be a fun day here at Parkview Field. And right now, though, let's show you the footage from when the cannon, not the gun, but the cannon from the historic Baker Street station shot off, and the 10K race began just about 35 minutes ago.
Wheelchair racers and multiple racers today are off. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we will 5, 4, 3.
And we're off. Congratulations to everyone participating in the 7th annual Fort4Fitness 10K.
There goes my wife coming out of Toronto. Mel right there, everybody. Good luck, honey.
Quite a scene there, and amazing to tie in the history of Fort Wayne there, an historic fort, as part of the starting line. And now here at Parkview Field, we have the finish line, and again, we expect the finishers, the first finishers from the 10K, to be coming across the finish line in the next 5 or so minutes. For now, though, let's take a look at where the runners go for the 10K, as well as the half marathon and the 4-mile run walk. First, let's take a look at the 4-mile run walk presented by Subway. Participants start on Baker Street and quickly head south down Calhoun for about 1.5 miles before turning west on Packard Ave. Runners and walkers hit the halfway point at the corner of Indiana and Kennard as they loop their way back downtown. Now here's the Fort Wayne TinCaps 10K. Again, it starts by Baker Street Station and goes even further down Calhoun for about 2.5 miles, where runners turn on Pettit Ave and wind north on Wayne. They start to hit the home stretch in mile 5 on Hoagland as they near home plate. Finally, a look at the 13.1-mile half marathon presented by Fager Baker Daniels. For the second time in 3 years, this race has been selected as the Road Runners Club of America Central Regional Half Marathon Championship. The Harriers go down Calhoun for 4 miles until circling north on West Tillman Road. They make the long trek around Foster Golf Course and twist north downtown, where a ballpark full of supporters await them at Parkview Fields. And now, only a matter of minutes before the first finishers from the 10K come across the finish line behind us. And remember, if you want to keep up with what's going on today in Fort4Fitness, there are a couple of ways to do so. For one, get involved on social media. You can like Fort4Fitness on Facebook, and that's Fort, F-O-R-T, the number 4, Fitness, F-I-T-N-E-S-S. You can also Follow along on Twitter and Instagram at Fort4Fitness. And then Fort4Fitness.com, you can find live updates on runners as they come across. So starting to hear some excitement here in Parkview Fields with the 10K, which got underway at 7:30. Now some of the first finishers will be making their way into Parkview Field, and one of the things that differentiates Fort4Fitness from other road races is how it has this Olympic-style finisher with runners coming into this ballpark downtown. And right now we have our first finisher coming across and now take in the sights and sounds.
The first 10K runner! Right behind him, John Damon.
And there you have it, the first two in the 10K, and we'll be joined by the winners coming up. Right now, stay tuned. We'll put the mic down, but appreciate the sights and sounds here from the 7th annual Fort4Fitness at Parkview Field in downtown Fort Wayne. And we're joined now by the winner of the men's 10K, our first champion of the day, John Damon. And John, congratulations. How do you feel right now?
Pretty tired. Thanks, John. Yeah, I feel great. I mean, it was a hard race, but now that it's over and I had some time to catch my breath, I'm feeling pretty good.
Unofficially finishing in 35:15 in the 10K, which wasn't initially on the docket when Fort4Fitness started 7 years ago. So this was the 4th time the 10K has been run, and unofficially a new record here for Fort4Fitness. So what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, last year I broke my ankle, so to be able to come back and kind of rebound from an injury like that and run a pretty fast time today, it feels really good.
How did you break your ankle, and what was it like coming back from that injury?
I broke it just kind of being silly. It took a long time to heal. I worked with kind of Fort Wayne Orthopedic kind of here in town to kind of get back and get the rehabilitation kind of underway. And I didn't get the training I needed to do the half marathon, but I was able to get enough in to do a 10K and run for me what was a PR and a pretty good time for what I was looking to shoot.
And John, a 34-year-old from Fort Wayne, and you competed in the half marathon 2 years ago before the injury, right?
That's right, yeah. I finished about 11th or so and had a great race then too and came back. This is I think the 3rd time I've done a Fort4Fitness event. And every year I have a blast. I look forward to coming back. So
take us through the race. And for those of you who don't speak metric, a 10K, 6.25 miles. So take us through. What was it like this morning?
Well, it's at 6.2 miles. So the extra 0.05 at the end actually does make a difference when you're out of breath and your legs are on fire. But it started out pretty well. I had a couple guys I was running with the first 3-4 miles or so. And then there's 2 of us kind of going into mile 5. And my legs just felt light and fresh, and there was a couple of hills that I could really push and kind of get some separation. And kind of was able to run my fastest mile was my last mile. So that's always what I want to see when I run any kind of race, is to kind of finish strong, and I was able to do that today.
Negative split, certainly what everyone's going for today, especially in a long race. What moment during the race did you realize that you were out in front and you were feeling good and no one was going to come get you?
Not until I entered the stadium, really. So kind of the whole last mile, I could kind of hear kind of the guy behind me breathing and hear his footsteps. And that might have been more mental than anything, but it wasn't until I turned into the stadium that I realized I had enough separation that he wasn't going to catch up to me with a strong sprint.
Have you won big races before?
Not really, no. I've won quite a few 5Ks in some of the smaller races. And I'm always kind of shooting for a PR more than trying to kind of win different races. So this is the first one of some size that I've won.
And one of the things that makes Fort4Fitness great is that there are a lot of runners today who aren't champions but still winners in their own way. But for you, you weren't necessarily a college runner. You said you were a rower in college at the University of Cincinnati?
That's right. I was a lightweight rower, so it's the weight categories, which makes it easier. But right, it's kind of running has been something kind of I've kind of gotten into post-college. We had a lot of friends that were doing kind of the Fort Wayne Smallest Winter here in town. It's kind of a big event to kind of promote a healthier lifestyle, and that kind of support around me kind of really motivated me to kind of rebound from the injury, but also kind of stay focused where it's not something I did in college, but it's something that I've really kind of gotten into kind of more the last 5 years or so, kind of later in kind of my early 30s.
And to give context for some viewers who aren't ardent runners and don't really know what it takes to become a champion here in Fort4Fitness, while there is some innate talent that you have to have, a lot of it is just hard work and putting in the miles. So how many miles do you put in on average during a week?
To be honest, I don't really know. So I kind of, what I try to do is not focus on the actual mileage, but I'll try to go out and kind of run for anywhere from 45 minutes to about an hour a day. And if I feel great, my hour might be a little bit longer, or if I don't feel so great, it might be a little bit shorter. But it's kind of, I try to put the time in, which kind of translates into quite a few miles, 40 to 50 miles, something like that, on a weekly basis. But it's more kind of trying to be promoting kind of the hour a day kind of active, which might not be an hour total of running every day, but kind of getting the running in within that kind of hour of physical kind of activity.
And do you train by yourself, or do you have any training partners?
I train with my friends and family for the most part, and then we have some dogs that are pretty fast that I can run with as well.
So now as more and more finishers file in here at Parkview Field, more and more energy here. What was it like at the starting line back at 7:30?
I mean, the energy of an event like this is just fantastic. From start to finish, I got here about 6:30. I like to get here a little bit early, just so I I feel settled in before the start comes up. But you can kind of feel the energy even at 6:30 in the morning until, we're going to probably stick around and watch the start of the half marathon, kind of through the finish of the half marathon. So we'll be here until 10:30, 11 o'clock, whatever it is today. And you can really just feel the energy and the excitement for the whole event, for 5, 6, 7 hours kind of all day, which is great to be a part of all that energy for the community.
What was that moment like when you came through into Parkview Field towards the finish?
Well, at that point, my legs were kind of on fire. So, but I could really feel the energy and the support of the crowd. There was, even though it's kind of the first event of the day, and a lot of people are still getting ready for the half, there's still a lot of support kind of out there cheering us on, and kind of running in and kind of hearing that crowd noise when you kind of enter the stadium. It just kind of gives you a boost of energy to kind of finish the last kind of 0.2 miles, which is a great feeling.
Well, congratulations again. Any other message or any thanks you'd like to send out here?
Just my friends and my family. Yeah.
Great.
I can't kind of keep the healthy lifestyle I have without it.
Well, John Damon, congratulations, the men's 10K champion and a new course record.
Great.
Congratulations, and we hope to see you back here next year.
Great, thank you very much.
All right, we'll step aside, but still continue to appreciate the sights and sounds of the 7th annual Fort4Fitness from Parkview Field here on Xfinity.
And here comes Jenny Robinson. That's our top female finisher in the 10K, Fort4Fitness. Way to go, Jenny.
And we're joined now by our first female winner of the day, and the gold medalist and the women's 10K is Jenny Robinson, a Fort Wayne native. And Jenny, congratulations. How does it feel to win the 10K here this morning?
Well, I'm really happy. I was just looking to PR, and I did, and that was my main goal. So to win was an extra bonus, so I'm really happy all around.
And coming off of a championship for you last year in the 4 miles, so now you're nearing in on the Triple Crown Championship. And today, unofficially, your time around 40:17. That's a 6:23 average pace mile. How did you feel out there this morning?
Well, it was a little hard because I didn't really taper, and I ran 15 miles on Thursday, so my legs were a bit sore, but the course is relatively flat, so the weather was perfect, so I felt pretty good apart from sore quads, but otherwise felt perfect.
So for some out there watching on their couches, they're maybe thinking, I haven't done 15 miles in the last year, and you can put that in just a couple days ago and then come out here and win the 10K. It's 6.2 miles. How many miles do you usually log during a week of training?
It really varies. I do anything from 30 to upper 40s, but I do some cross training also, like elliptical and some weights.
And tell us about your race this morning. At what point did you realize that you were out in front as far as the women go and that you were going to win this race?
Well, I didn't see any women ahead, but I didn't know if some people would catch up at the end. So I started out about a 6:30 pace and higher, and then I cranked it down the last 3 miles and negative split, and I felt good, and it helped to have a lot of crowd support, and that kind of revved me up to go faster at the end, so it was nice.
What is that crowd support like here at Fort4Fitness?
It's my favorite race, because finishing in the stadium is just awesome, and they call your name and everybody's cheering, and then at all the water stops there's so many spectators cheering, and they're all saying first female, and the women spectating get really excited because they're like girl power, and they get really happy when they see a woman up in front. So.
Yeah, and for that matter, you beat nearly every man in this race as well. What does that support, though, do for you when you say your legs do get tired, especially towards the end of the race, and you have people spurring you on like that?
It's mentally really hard to keep going, and my legs really wanted to slow, but it really helps to have people cheering, and I think, okay, I'm inspiring somebody, so I'll keep going. And people saw my USA shirt, and they were calling out USA, and so that was really cool.
Always a crowd pleaser when you have on the red, white, and blue.
For sure.
You mentioned the mental part of racing, and that really is such a big part of running. For you, how do you find that mental endurance to make it through a 10K in such a time?
Well, I've done some longer races really recently. I did a half a couple weeks ago. I did a marathon, so it's really nice. It's a lot easier mentally doing a 10K right now because it seems so much shorter. And then at 4 miles, I think, okay, just 2 more miles to go, and I kind of break it apart mentally, like mile per mile.
We have Jenny Robinson here, our women's 10K winner, and kind of a funny story that you end up as the 10K champion. Again, you won the 4 mile last year. Your plan today was not to run the 10K initially, right?
Yeah, I had signed up for the half, and then I had a work conflict. I play with the Fort Wayne Philharmonic, and we're doing a concert tonight, but we have a rehearsal at 10 o'clock, so I thought it'd be kind of close, so I'd go to rehearsal all sweaty, so I thought I'll do this one, clean up, and then do the rehearsal, but it worked out. It was a lot of fun.
So as if it's not impressive enough to win the 10K here in a time of about 40:17, you're also a talented musician. Can you tell us, what do you perform in the Philharmonic?
I play flute, so I've been playing since I was 10 years old, and kind of played in different orchestras, and came back to Fort Wayne and playing a concert tonight. It's Mahler's First Symphony, so I'm really excited about that. It's a huge, difficult, and really rewarding piece, and it's one of my favorites.
Did you perform with the Fort Wayne Phil here at Parkview Field around the 4th of July for the...
Yeah, I did, the fireworks and stuff. That was awesome.
Patriotic Pops concert took place here at Parkview Field for the first time back around the 4th of July. And so what's it like to be back in this ballpark now? A totally different capacity. And again, though, it's an event that's not even baseball.
Yeah. You know, I've only been here once or twice for baseball. Mostly I'm here for this race, or that was the first time I'd played a concert here was the 4th of July, but it's a really great stadium, and it's really impressive to have this facility in Fort Wayne.
So again, for some runners, just weekend runners, they may think, oh, if I go out for a long run, that's kind of it for the day. I'm going to go sit down now and maybe watch TV the rest of the day. But for you, you're going to go perform now with the Fort Wayne Phil. For you, what is the recovery like?
The recovery from the race?
Yes.
Well, this won't be too bad. I mean, I'll probably run a mile or two, cool down, and then just stretch a bit, relax, and my legs will probably feel okay tomorrow, really. And like a half marathon takes me a lot longer, though.
Do you know which race is next for you? Any goals now going forward?
I'm going to do the Boston Marathon in April, so that's my big goal. And then next year I'll do maybe the half at Fort4Fitness.
Have you run in Boston before?
I haven't. I've spectated, but I've signed up to run it in April, so I'm excited about that.
So one of the most prestigious marathons in the whole world. What does it feel like now getting ready for that?
Well, I haven't really started my training program, but I'll start in January when it's the worst weather of the year, but gotta find a way to train through the winter time.
Yeah. Any other message or any thank yous you'd like to hand out here?
Well, I just want to thank all the organizers. This is the best, like the most well-organized race I've ever done, and they had bike pacers the entire way, like really good signs, direction spectators, and crowd support. It's a really awesome race, so thanks to all the organizers.
Well, again, Jenny Robinson, now a 10K champion after already winning a 4-mile crown last year. So I guess while we have you, for next year, can you commit to running the half and going for the Triple Crown Championship?
We'll see. I'll do 1, 2, or 3 of the races. I'll see.
Great. Well, hey, if you're in the half mile, we won't bet against you. Congratulations again. Best of luck with your performance tonight here at the Embassy, is it?
Yep, the Embassy.
Are tickets still available? Can we plug
They
that?
are at the box office.
All right, so come check out Jenny tonight back downtown. Not running this time, but she'll be performing the flute in the Fort Wayne Philharmonic. And best of luck training for Boston. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next April.
Thank you very much.
All right, stay tuned. More coverage of the 7th annual Fort4Fitness from Parkview Field in downtown Fort Wayne.
Monica Jail, Suzanne Howell.
10K finishers continue to cross the finish line at the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival here at Parkview Field in downtown Fort Wayne. And one of the phenomenal aspects of this event that brings the community together is the community charity partners, and we're joined now by a couple of the representatives from one of 45 official charity partners for this year's Fort4Fitness. And from the Community Harvest Food Bank of Northeast Indiana, we have Tammy Klimek and Sarah Kerner with us here. Thanks for joining us. And can you tell us about your involvement in today's race?
Sure. Thanks for inviting us here. Actually, it's our first year as a charity partner, so we've been very excited to get involved. One of our volunteers actually gave me the information and said, you know, our charity really needs to get involved in all of this. It's allowing us actually to use this as a fundraiser to raise money for holiday food this year. So we not only were able to set up a booth last night as people were coming in to explain what we're all about, but they also asked us to man a water station. So water station number 3 has about 40 volunteers from Community Harvest and about 14 staff members. We have about 8 staff members actually running or walking in this as well. So quite excited to get involved this year.
And with about 10,000 participants in the race, another 1,200 volunteers, not to mention all the viewers we have here on Xfinity Channel 81. Great exposure for your great cause, right?
Yes, appreciate that.
So tell us about the Fight for Hunger that you're a part of right now.
Right, so we are actually a food bank of Feeding America, and Walmart right now has a campaign that's started September 21st and it goes until October 5th. They are donating $3 million to hunger relief in the United States. So there are 128 food banks that are able to compete for that money. They're giving out 50 grants, each worth $60,000. And so what we need, and we are asking our community to support us, would be to go to walmart.com/fight-hunger. We are currently in 17th place in the nation, but it goes until October 5th. And again, that would be $60,000 that we could win. And we need the support of people every day going to that website and voting for us. And again, we can provide about 240,000 meals with that $60,000. We can stretch it a long way.
And with the holidays coming up in just a couple of months, so important. And Sarah, if people want to learn more about Northeast Indiana Community Harvest Food Bank, where can they learn more about your organization?
Sure, definitely. They can learn more at www.communityharvest.org, or they can also find us on social media platforms. We are on Twitter and Facebook.
What have you thought of today's race so far?
It's been a lot of fun, I love seeing everybody come through of all ages. It's been amazing to watch.
Great. Well, again, one more reminder of where people can vote to help the cause here. 17th in the entire country. It's pretty impressive here for the Summit City.
And again, only because of people going every day and voting and supporting us. It's walmart.com/fight-hunger.
Well, Tammy and Sarah, any other message that you'd like to share here before we sign off?
Again, we just appreciate the opportunity to have been here today. It's an awesome thing. If you've never done Fort4Fitness, come on down. It's a great time.
45 official charity sponsors, and the Food Bank Community Harvest of Northeast Indiana, one of them. Thanks so much, Tammy and Sarah.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the day, and thanks for supporting a great, worthwhile cause.
Thanks for having us.
Stay tuned, more coverage here from the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival at Parkview Field on Xfinity.
Karen Pellerin, Amy Seitz.
It's the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival in downtown Fort Wayne at Parkview Field, and it's a pleasure to be joined now by the founder and chair of the Fort4Fitness board, Tim Kennedy. And Tim, thanks for giving us a few moments. And while we're celebrating the 7th year of this event, let's go back in time a little bit. Before there was a Fort4Fitness, where did this idea come from?
Well, I think there were 3 things we thought of. One was that there was an appetite in Fort Wayne and the surrounding area for fitness events, because we saw that the Indy Mini was sold out every year, and so people were being turned away. And so that was one thought. The second was a recognition that that healthcare costs and the need to get fit was becoming an issue for all of the region. And then the third was this idea somehow that Fort Wayne wasn't progressive and wouldn't embrace something like this. And we saw that as a challenge, and so we started to, I first met with the mayor at the time, who supported it 100%, and then we met with some business leaders, and then the last piece was the volunteers, and we saw just an incredible community receptiveness to this. And once we got those three pieces in place, the city, the business community, and the volunteers, the participants came excitedly, and you see where it is now.
So with the community all together in Fort Wayne, about 10,000 participants in this year's Fort4Fitness, how have you seen this event evolve from its inception to year 7?
Yeah, I mean, the first year was a half marathon and a 4 mile, and each year we tried to think of how to embrace a little bit more of the community and get them involved. And so we added a 10K, and we added a kids marathon and a senior marathon. And then a few years ago, we even added a spring cycle for those that aren't able to run. So each year we've tried to add a little bit more. And what's kind of cool this year is you'll see folks, a few folks trying to do all 3 races, and maybe some folks trying to do 2 races. So each year it brings a little bit more. And I think you see that, again, there is a vibrant community spirit that wants to participate. It's just a matter of giving them the opportunity. And if you make it available, they'll certainly embrace it.
The Triple Crown and Double Play are a couple of new features for 2014. Obviously, a lot of momentum behind this event right now. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Where would you like to see Fort4Fitness grow in the future?
Well, I think first thing we want to do is make sure that each year the event brings a little bit more opportunities for folks. I think the Triple Play will continue, and I think you might even see more participants in that next year. Triple Crown, I should say. And then I wouldn't be surprised if you think about, we've got a fall event in the Fall Festival, we got the Spring Cycle. It wouldn't surprise me if you see something in the summer. So I'll tease everyone with that, and we'll see what happens in the summer.
All right, well, we'll stay tuned, but for now, thanks so much for all you've done to make this event the successful hit that it's become, and for giving us a few minutes here in this busy weekend.
Well, I appreciate that, but I want to thank everybody for the support, because we do this with all volunteers, and we've got people volunteering their time. So I would encourage those that are participating to make sure you give a high five and a thanks to all the folks that are volunteering, and thank you for the time.
Tim Kennedy, Fort4Fitness founder. Stay tuned, more coverage of the 2014 Fall Festival on Xfinity.
Kelly and Pamela Hornbarn.
It's the 7th annual Fort4Fitness at the home of the TinCaps, Parkview Field, and we're joined now by TinCaps Director of Promotions and Community Relations, who also just happens to be the co-chair of this year's Fort4Fitness Fall Festival, Abby Naz. Abby, thanks for taking a few moments away from the busyness that is organizing this event that features more than 10,000 people. But tell us, what's your role as co-chair?
Yeah, it's myself and Adam Smith. We are both the co-chairs. And so we do our best to try to just make sure that this is a really successful event for the entire community.
And it seems like it's a full-time job in itself, but of course it's not necessarily your day job. So what's it take to try to have so many volunteers put together an event that really does require nearly a full-time commitment?
Yeah, we're all volunteers, like you said, but we have a volunteer committee, and their whole role in everything that we do for Fort4Fitness is to recruit people. They do that by going out and speaking to different organizations. Our executive director is really great at that, Brad Kimmel. And then just the people on the volunteer committee, they put in a lot of hours, a lot of hard work to get our name out there and get people excited. Even if you can't run or you don't want to run or walk, you could still be a part of this wonderful event.
And what is the relationship like between Fort4Fitness and the TinCaps in Parkview Fields?
Yeah, this is the 6th season that we've held the Fort4Fitness here at Parkview Field. it's a wonderful opportunity for the TinCaps in Parkview Field to get more people into our ballpark and our facility. It's become a wonderful community place for people to come, and this is just another example of it. We have in the past over 20,000 people that come through here. 10,000 of them are runners, and then everyone's spectating and watching and cheering them on. So it's just a wonderful community spot for downtown Fort Wayne and really all of the city.
And the TinCaps during the baseball season had more than 411,000 fans here at Parkview Field, a new record. But the big fun never stops, even once baseball ends, right?
No, we had a concert last weekend, and now we've got Fort4Fitness. In a little over a month, we'll have Fright Night here downtown. It's a big event, but we'll be having our own portion here, and then shooting off the fireworks for Night of Lights the night before Thanksgiving. So it's an amazing facility that we can use almost every day of the year, and we do our best to try to do so.
And so while you've been on the side now of running Fort4Fitness for a few years, running as in putting it together, you also have run Fort4Fitness before. You've completed the half marathon. Can you describe the comparison between the exhilaration of finishing a race and the exhilaration of pulling off an event like this?
Yeah, I tell you, there's a lot less training that goes into actually working the event. So, but both are just as rewarding. I did the 4 mile in 2009, and it was my first half marathon in 2010. It was an amazing experience. But now, usually during the race, I'll see everyone at the finish line. So I'm down there, and just watching people accomplish what they've been working towards is absolutely incredible.
And there are so many incredible stories over the years. Do you have any stories that stand out that you've encountered here with Fort4Fitness?
Yeah, there's been a lot of weight loss stories that we've heard about, which is wonderful. That's why Fort4Fitness is here, is we're trying to make this a more fit community. So there's a lot of those. There's just me never being a runner and having completed something like this was
the best
impressive.
story of all.
Yeah, for myself. A lot of my friends, I know we have some staff here that were never runners before, and so it just kind of seeing it all happen kind of makes us want to get out there and do it. And then we have a wedding this year, so there's a lot of health stories and things like that, but then there's just a lot of happiness stories, like getting married in the middle of a half marathon and, finishing together with your whole bridal party.
It's the one time that a runaway bride is a good thing. It's just running towards the finish line. Now, Ken, circling back to your involvement with the TinCaps, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up that you did win the Midwest League's Rowlings Woman Executive of the Year award for the second time in the last 5 years, making you one of only 3 women to ever win that award in its 26-year history multiple times. What is that? Congratulations, and what does that accomplishment mean to you?
Well, thank you very much. I'm very honored to have won that award, but everything that we do here, I wouldn't have been able to do it without the incredible staff that we have. So I may be the one with my name on that award, and I just view it as I'm representing everything that we do here with the TinCaps. We have over 30 full-time people, and everyone works so hard, which I feel like we prove almost every day, especially last weekend picking up flooring in the pouring rain. So there's a million things that we do here, but my name's just on that plaque, but it's a team effort.
Well, congratulations
Thank you.
on that accolade, and also congratulations on all of your work with Fort4Fitness and making this 7th year another successful one.
Thank you very much.
There was Fort4Fitness Fall Festival co-chair Abby Nas. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, sir.
Got continuing coverage of Fort4Fitness at Parkview Field here on Xfinity.
From Kendallville.
About 10,000 runners today in downtown Fort Wayne for the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival at Parkview Field, and we're joined now by one of today's co-chairs, Adam Smith. Adam, thanks for giving us a few minutes here amongst the craziness of this weekend. And earlier we talked with Abby Nas, who I know you described as the yin to your yang. So as the co-chair with Abby, can you tell us your role in putting this all together?
Abby takes care of a lot of the Parkview Field logistics, everything there. I mean, Parkview Field has a big part of this, and it's a big, I think, draw to our event to finish at home field or home plate here at Parkview Field. So I think that's huge. She takes care of all that. I kind of default and handle the things that aren't involved with that. So that's where she's my yin to my yang. She takes care of things that I don't know needed to be taken care of, and hopefully I do the same for her, but maybe she knows the things that I'm doing. I don't know. So, but we get it accomplished and get the goal done. So.
And you've been involved now for 6 years on the board. What keeps you involved with Fort4Fitness?
Well, I mean, it's just a great community event. It's just amazing to see your friends, neighbors, coworkers, family members out here doing it. I mean, Fort4Fitness was started to try and get people to get active. You know, we were voted the fattest, dumbest city. So it's great. You know, we try and get those people off the couch and do it. It's just a great thing to see people do things that they never thought they could do before. And you know, it's a very rewarding, you know, satisfaction to me. And that's why a lot of volunteers do volunteer as well to, you know, help the community.
And more than 1,200 volunteers. How do you go about bringing in a small army like that to run this operation?
We have a pretty large database. I mean, we've got a database of 15,000 probably that we do hit up. The challenge is a lot, you know, we get a lot from the colleges, which is great, and then the kids, you know, graduate and move on, so we get a lot of bounce backs, you know, like no longer in school here. But we do get a lot of people, and I mean, it's not just one day. You know, we plan this 12 months out of the year, but a week to 10 days is when we start getting groups coming in and helping us out, because, like I said, it's just not a one-day event. It's 12 months in planning. So
what does it feel like, though, when you do arrive to this weekend after a full year of planning?
It's nice. It's good because, you know, knock on wood, the weather's always cooperated. It's
marvel.
That'll work. The weather seemed to always cooperate. I think one year we did have some rain and it was a little cold, but it's always been a nice weekend. It seems like the end of the September we seem to get the Indian summer or whatever. The weather seems to cooperate, and it's great because I think it brings more people out. I guess what the cool thing with me that I've noticed throughout the years is, you know, the first few years there were not as many spectators. We've got a lot, you know, like we had the people doing the event, but we didn't have a huge number of people coming out to watch it. As we've grown, I think we see that on Saturday as the stadium's full, which is awesome. I mean, I think we're getting more people that maybe aren't participating coming and seeing the event. And what's great is I think they do eventually, hey, let's get involved with this. So,
how have you seen the event evolve besides larger crowds? How have you seen the event evolve from the beginning to where it is now?
Well, you know, like this year we set a record for our kids. My daughter's waving at me, sorry.
Speaking of kids.
The kids marathon, we set a record for that this year, which is great. You know, where we hope that is you get the kids involved, you get the parents involved. You know, the seniors as well. We're starting to get seniors involved. You know, the nursing homes are really pushing it, and that's excellent as well, because it's not, you know, just the kids that should be involved. It's everybody, every walks of life, every age group, and that's what we're really trying to hit to.
And what does it mean to bring together an entire community here in Northeast Indiana, even into Northwest Ohio, from young to old?
It's great. I mean, there again, that's why I volunteer and why I'm so involved, because, you know, I think it is a great community building event. You know, I see a lot of my friends, neighbors, co-workers, and things of that nature. But it's to see them to change to more healthy lifestyle. I mean, there again, I think it's good for the community. It's good for us as, you know, individuals. But, you know, it's just, I can't repeat it enough. It's a great community event. And you see, you know, I see a lot of that with the volunteers. You know, we've got volunteers that will show up and be here 3 days straight. You know, they'll take off work to come and volunteer to help out. But, you know, they enjoy doing the things that need to be done in order to help this event to be what it is, and that's really appreciated. So.
And I know there are a myriad of things that volunteers do, but for someone who's maybe watching today and thinking, I do want to be involved, I'm not a runner, what are ways for people for next year, perhaps, to get involved?
Sure. We've got lots of different places. We've got our board is volunteers. Our committees are volunteers. So, you know, not only just the people that are here one day, the people that are there 12 months are volunteers. But we do have Wednesday. We have the goodie bag stuffing. You know, every participant gets a goodie bag. Caleb Kimmel from World Baseball Academy has been great at getting us people, not only for Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You know, he's a great resource. He's got connected with the teams and things of that nature. So we bring all these people here. We do certain tasks on certain nights and get it all accomplished, so then that way everything runs smoothly on Saturday, and Friday night and Saturday. So
I know you encounter so many people, from the volunteers to participants in the races. What are some of the stories that stand out to you that you've come across over the years?
Well, it's great. I mean, from the volunteer standpoint, I mean, we've had 3-4 generations of volunteers, believe it or not. We try and get 18 or older, but I mean, we actually had somebody that was a college, mom, grandma, great grandma that had volunteered a few years ago at Packet Pickup. So that's kind of cool, is to have 4 generations come out. It's a family event. I think they were doing the race as well on Saturday, but they came out on Friday night and did Packet Pickup as a family event. So it's like they almost make a family weekend. I do see a lot of that, from the post-race responses and just some things on Facebook is like, hey, I'm coming back to my hometown in Fort Wayne, which is great to try and get the people back that grew up here, to spend, the weekend with my family, but here to do the Fort4Fitness. So it's just, great for the community. I keep saying that, I'm sorry, but it's just, I think it's a great event. So.
And your story of involvement here comes from the perspective of not even being a runner yourself, right?
I do not like running. I'm not a fan of running, and that's how I guess they got me involved because when the event was started, I believe everybody liked to run. So I was not a fan of running. I've got, through my business, a lot of connections, with people and out in the community. But my wife had worked for the American Cancer Society, and they do the 24-hour walks and things like that. So I've helped out with that. So it was like I knew how events ran. Of course, they weren't 10,000 people. So that's kind of how they roped me in, is to help out with that. And then it kind of evolved to now I'm the co-chair and helping out with the whole thing. So.
And now, any favorite part of this weekend?
It's seeing the people finish. I mean, it's great to see everybody, but it's when they finish and accomplish a goal that they just don't think they could ever finish. My favorite spot is down on the field Saturday morning, seeing the finishers finish, getting that medal. There's a lot of great things. You see a lot of just emotion from people that are able to do it that they didn't think they would do it, and people that have never tried to do something like that, and it's just a huge accomplishment for them. So.
Well, Adam, thanks for everything that you do to make this event what it is, and for joining us here on Xfinity.
No problem. Thank you.
2014 Fall Co-Chair Adam Smith with us here at the 2014 Fort4Fitness Fall Festival on Xfinity.
Here he comes, Alexander Cushman from Ossian. Our first half marathoner. He's not even tired. Look at him.
It's the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival, and we're joined now by our half marathon champion, Alex Cushman. Alex, congratulations, just coming across the finish line a few moments ago in an unofficial time of 1:08:52, which would be a new course record. The age of 21 in your first ever half marathon. How does it feel right now?
It feels pretty good. I really wanted to come here. It's a local race for me. I'm only from Ossian, so it's a 20-minute drive to come put down a half marathon time for the first time, so I felt really good about it.
This year at Parkview Field, home of the TinCaps, we saw Josh Van Meter, another Norwell High School graduate from Ossian, shine, have a few big moments. What's this moment like for you here, as you said, being close to home and winning this race that had thousands of competitors?
Well, it's a really competitive race, and how could I not want to have a chance to run this race? And it's kind of cool that Josh Van Meter competes on this same field from Norwell, so Norwell's representing some athletes out of college.
Even behind the camera today, too, as well, with Cale DeVoe running our camera right now, another Norwell grad.
Norwell grad running the camera.
The Knights are all over the place here today, and there were nearly 3,000 competitors in this half marathon. Can you take us through your race from the start? Did you get out in the front of the pack early on and hang on? How did it go?
Well, I knew that I needed to go out at about 5:20 pace the first mile, 5:20 pace the second, and the third mile. I kind of wanted to take a little conservative. I got out in front, started pulling away, I think, around 2 miles. Then after the third mile or the 5K mark, I really just let myself go and just kept picking up the pace and slowly cutting down my miles.
And this was, you told me, your first ever half marathon. So where did you know where you needed to make your move towards the end? Did it feel unfamiliar to you at all?
It did feel a little unfamiliar. I've never really done it. I knew that at mile 10, so with 5K to go, that I really needed to push hard and try to break 69 minutes. I was about 52.0 something, I think, or I can't remember what time. I was at 10 miles. I think I might have been maybe 53. But I know I closed my 5K in about 15:40s. So that was a pretty good encouragement that I can do half marathons pretty well if I can close pretty fast. So.
And you're currently a college runner at the University of Indianapolis, but redshirting this year, correct?
Yeah, I'm taking a year to not compete because I have to go 5 years for my undergrad, and NCAA only lets you compete for 4 years. So I chose this year to kind of sit out, and because I'm sitting out, I decided why not try out this half marathon.
And during this season in which you're redshirting, have you been competing in any other road races locally?
This is my first road race since the summer that I've competed in. I've been doing unattached cross-country races, though, one at Indiana Wesleyan and the other at Purdue.
And so this was your first Fort4Fitness. What'd you think of the entire race?
I could not be more impressed with the organization, how many people came out here for the cheer. I mean, it's a 13-mile race, and I probably only went a half mile without seeing somebody cheer for me or the rest of the runners. So that's crazy. It was impossible to get lost on this course. They had great directions throughout the entire race. Shout out to all the organization in this race. It was unbelievable.
What was your favorite moment, if you can recall one, from going along the course?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one. I would say it really started getting cool finishing that last 2 miles because there's so many people. You're starting to really hurt, and they're trying to bring you up and cheering for you, and it was an unbelievable experience.
We're joined by Alex Cushman, the winner of the men's half marathon here at Parkview Field in a record fashion here in the 2014 edition. And mentioned the last couple of miles. What's it like coming into Parkview Field and having the stadium entrance?
It couldn't be more adrenaline rush, I guess. I mean, what half marathon, or any race for that matter, do you get to finish on a really nice baseball field? You got that last kick to go on this really nice dirt. It's really a change from most other races, because most other races you just finish in the road. So it was just really different. I really enjoyed it.
And so at the University of Indianapolis, redshirting this year, what do you usually compete in college?
I usually compete in cross country you don't really have a choice. It's an 8K and a 10K at tournament. For track though, I usually do the 10,000 meters, so I usually am a longer distance runner.
And what are your goals going forward here, both running and also as far as school goes?
My goals for running, I hope to become an All-American someday. I was pretty close at cross-country nationals last year. Academic-wise, I'm just trying to get a good GPA, 3.5, higher than that. Trying to represent the team with good academics, and then trying to get pretty much a degree in college. So.
Studying exercise science right now, and plans to hopefully go to grad school for special education. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm going for exercise science, and then I'm hoping to get into grad school for physical education and health, actually. So either a health classroom setting or a PE teacher would be great.
What is it like here after, you said back in high school at Norwell, you weren't necessarily all state. What's it like to win such a big race here with nearly 3,000 runners?
It's been unbelievable. The amount I've been able to improve in college has been a huge encouragement. I started working a lot harder, really knowing how to work, and I just put in a lot more time into my passion, and it's really paying off.
And would you say that is the explanation for how you've improved, just putting in time and miles?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to the simplest method possible. You put in the work and you're going to get the results. So I really, really put in a lot of work. I've been doing what my body is going to let me do and going as far as I can and as hard as I can, and it's really paying off.
Well, Alex, congratulations. Certainly a special day for you, coming not too far away from home in Austin. Enjoy the moment here today.
Thank you so much.
Stay tuned. We've got continuing coverage of the 2014 Fort4Fitness Fall Festival in downtown Fort Wayne at Parkview Field.
Pete Stratton and Seth Lockmuller, Mike Els, Neil Neeser.
I'm wearing thin. Oh, why are we keeping score? 'Cause if you're not laughing, who is laughing?
Great job.
Beautiful day at Parkview Field in downtown Fort Wayne, the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival. We've got half marathon finishers completing behind us right now, and it's a pleasure to be joined by Rose Scoville, a state representative from the Roadrunners Club of America, or RRCA for short. So, Rose, can you tell us about your involvement and RRCA's involvement here at Fort4Fitness?
Well, RRCA, or the Roadrunners Club of America, is a club of the national organization for running clubs, and we support coaches and races and running clubs around the country and around Indiana. We have a number of clubs, and each year we have a championship series of races, at least at the 5K, 10K, half marathon, and full marathon distance. And this year, Fort4Fitness was the Indiana 10K championship race, and the half marathon here at Fort4Fitness was the regional championship race, or the next level up in that. We also have national championship races.
Can you give us some context there? How many courses around the state get an honor like this?
Each year only one at each distance for the state championship, and then it's an honor to have a regional championship here in Indiana because there's several states in our region, and it's not every year that we have a regional race hosted here.
So what is it about the courses for Fort4Fitness that make them championship caliber?
It's not just the course, it's also the quality of the race director and the quality of the race experience that's really important. I think having a relatively flat, fast course is always a plus, where there might be some great times, but also the finish here at Parkview Field, the great organization that's behind this race, and the fact that it's a well-established race in the state.
And so, having traveled around, being at other races, what makes Fort4Fitness special? What differentiates it from other races?
It's a great size race. It's kind of a medium-sized race, and a lot of races are either much smaller, only a couple hundred people, or are huge, like the Indianapolis Mini Marathon, where a lot of people can be intimidated by that, even if that's their first race or they're trying to win. There's big purses and big national elites there. Here, it's great because a local person is likely to win.
I know you're going to be running today as well in the 4 mile coming up later, right?
I will be running. I need to get 12 miles in total today as I'm training for Chicago, but I will do the 4 mile race here and be able to check out the course.
Terrific. And so far, though, from your time standing around the finish line, what's been a special moment or story that you can share?
Really excited always to see the finishers come across and how much their work. The winners are great because they're so they've left it all on the course, and I like to see that. But I also take great joy in seeing the last finishers come across, especially in the 10K. We saw some of the walkers come across. The half marathoners finishing now are still pretty fast, but seeing those walkers coming across, seeing people who it's their first race finish is really exciting for me, because it was only 6 years ago that I did my first race, and I fell in love with racing then.
Well, best of luck in your race today. Best of luck in your training for next month's marathon in Chicago, and thanks for taking a few minutes to spend with us here on Xfinity.
Happy to do it. Thank you.
There's Rose Scoville from the Roadrunners Club of America here at Parkview Field. It's the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival. Stay tuned. More half marathon finishers behind us, and we'll be joined shortly by the champion on the female side from the half marathon here at Parkview Field.
Lisa McNulty, Autumn Holting, Jennifer Miguel.
Joined now by Ashley Aid, our champion in the women's half marathon today at the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival. And Ashley, first off, congratulations, and how does it feel to be a champion today?
It feels great. It was a lot of hard work, and it wasn't an easy race, but it's done and it feels good.
And take us through the race. Nearly 3,000 competitors this morning in the half marathon. So how did your race go? What was your strategy coming in?
Well, I know Casey Schaefer, who works with Three Rivers Running Company, and he talked about a group that wanted to run 125. And so I basically just ran with them through 6 miles, and then my shoe came untied. So I had to stop and tie it, and then I basically was just working to try to catch back up with them, but I never did. So then it was just kind of trying to catch people and stay with other people, and it worked out.
And unofficially, we've got your time at 1:25:44, so you still did get that 1:25 time. Now, I know from Leo and ran at IPFW. Had you ever had a race though before where you had to stop and tie your shoe?
No, no, I don't think so.
So were
Normally I triple knot them and I forgot.
Were you hesitant to stop and have to?
No, it was pretty loose. I was worried that it would come off if I didn't.
Shortly after you finished, there was a male who finished with no shoes on. He was barefoot for the last 4 miles. So I guess that is the better alternative to just stop and make sure you tie.
Most definitely.
So then what was the race like for you? At what point did you realize that you were in the front of the pack as far as female competitors go?
Pretty early on, we kind of knew that there were a couple girls out front, and then our group kind of caught them and passed them. So I had an idea from early on that it was, as long as nobody caught me, it would probably be mine for the win.
So what was it like coming down the home stretch, entering Parkview Field, realizing that you were about to win the gold medal?
It was a little emotional, to be honest. I haven't run this race very often, just for other reasons, and had some setbacks this year and things that I had to overcome, and so it was kind of emotional, but it was happy. And
I know you haven't run the last couple of years. You're a mother of 2, so you got the kids at home today after you were taking care of them when they were sick during the week. So you know, what does that feel like to be able to overcome that all and be a champ today?
It's a great feeling. It definitely tells me that mentally I can do whatever I set my mind to, regardless of what goes on during the week or during the month or anything.
Where do you get that mental toughness from?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things, I guess. You kind of develop it.
So what are you thinking when you're going through the course and you hit those moments where the finish line seems a little bit far away and the legs are getting heavy?
I just keep telling myself to put one foot in front of the other. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other and you'll get there.
So how does a mother of 2 now go home and celebrate this?
Well, I'm going to go to my husband's cross-country meet over at the Plex and then hopefully go home and crash. My mom is watching the girls, so maybe she'll stay a little longer so I can take a nap.
You've just certainly earned it. What does this feel like, not only just to be a winner here in the women's half marathon, but to do it in downtown Fort Wayne, close to where you grew up, ran in college?
It's a great feeling. I know so many people out here, and there were so many people cheering me on along the way just because I'm from around here and I know people, and it's a really good, it's a great experience. I love this race and I wish I could run it every year.
Hopefully you can defend that title going forward. I know you've got a tight support system and training team who helped get you in this position. Who would you like to thank for helping you achieve this milestone?
Most definitely my husband, because he watches the girls so that I can race. He runs with me when he can. Family is very important because they help us to watch the girls. If we didn't have somebody to watch the girls, I wouldn't be able to run. And then everybody that I run with, even if we don't run together regularly, they're still a big part of my training. So.
Anything else that you'd like to share?
Just for anybody out there that doesn't think they can run, they can, and everybody that does run, just keep working hard and you'll achieve success.
Well, Ashley, one of the many inspiring stories today. Congratulations again, and enjoy that nap later on.
I
hope the kids behave for you.
Me too. Thank you.
Ashley Ader, champion in the women's half marathon today, the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival, continuing coverage on Xfinity.
Jessica Scheckler, congratulations. Jordan Martin, Jim Daly, Rayanne Kern, John Helm, Jenny Sanders.
Here with our half marathon champion in wheelchair, Randall Conger. Randall, congratulations. What's it feel like to win here? Fort4Fitness, 2nd year in a row. Last year you won the 10K.
It's been a pleasure to be here. I love it. I like being a part of all this. I'm glad I can. I love it. And for all the other people in wheelchairs, I'd give it a try because you never know if you can finish it until you try it.
And today was the first time that you tried a half marathon, so what did you think of the longer distance?
It was tiring, but I finished. I just kept telling myself to keep going, don't give up until you get to the end.
What was it like out there on the course today? Beautiful weather.
It was really nice weather. The hills were torture for me, but I get that. We all have trouble with the hills, but in a wheelchair it's a lot harder.
Where do you get the strength to overcome that?
I do a lot of weightlifting at home. Before races like this, I usually work just on my shoulders because if I work on everything, my body's gonna hurt by the end.
And 19 years old now, a two-time Fort4Fitness champion. What's it like when you enter into Parkview Field, the home stretch here, and you got this whole ballpark cheering you on?
It's a sigh of relief. I know I'm done. I love it.
At what point did you realize that you were going to be the wheelchair champion?
When I looked back at the last corner and saw nobody behind me.
And how did that feel?
Felt amazing.
And you got a gold medal for it. And now you won 2 distances already. You got to go for the 4 mile next year to finish off the Triple Crown Championship?
Gonna try to.
Tell us a little bit about your story. Been in a wheelchair since you were 3.
Yeah, I was born with spina bifida, which means I was born with a hole in my spine. And I don't have any feeling from my waist down. So it's harder to be in a wheelchair than it is on your 2 legs because you don't have the advantages as anybody else does.
How long have you been competing in races?
For about 3 years now.
And how, obviously there are a lot of challenges as you alluded to there, but how has competing in wheelchair races changed your life?
It's made my life easier because I know there's a lot of things out there I can do.
And do very well here as a champion today at Fort4Fitness in the half marathon. And what message do you have out there to anyone who, whether they're in a wheelchair or not, who wants to get involved with races like Fort4Fitness?
Just give it a try. If you don't like it, you don't have to come back, but if you like it, come back every time. And if you want to try to set a goal of beating your times, go for it.
Anyone else who you'd like to thank or say hi to, or any other message?
I'd like to say thanks to Turnstone Flyers and the Turnstone Flyers sled hockey team for letting me come out here. Go Flyers.
Go Flyers, go Randall Conger. Congratulations, half marathon champion. Thanks so much for spending a few minutes with us.
Thank you.
Fort4Fitness Fall Festival 2014 here on Xfinity. We've got continuing coverage from Parkview Fields.
Kristen Huff, Kate Swigert.
At Parkview Field, it's the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival in downtown Fort Wayne, and we're joined now by a couple of superstars. We already talked to the champion from the men's and women's side for the half marathon, but a couple of the superstars from the younger age categories. We've got Mackenzie and Jamie Colvord, or Big Mac and Jay as they're better known. So congratulations. Now, Big Mac, you just set a new world record. Didn't misspeak there. A new world record, 1 hour, 45 minutes, 11 seconds for the half marathon. A world record. And Jay, pretty good yourself. 5 minutes behind that at 1:50 in the half marathon at just 13 years old. And Big Mac at 7. So how do you guys feel right now?
Good. Tired.
Tired? Understandable after completing 13.1 miles. So, Big Mac, you just set a world record. You broke the previous world record you had set at the Indy Mini. So, how does that feel to be a world record holder for 7-year-olds in the half marathon?
Good.
How did you feel you raced today?
Good. It was fun.
It was fun. You had run in the Fort4Fitness before?
I ran the Fort4Fitness 4-miler last year.
And so this year bumping up to a half marathon. How do you like running such a long distance?
Good. This is actually my 3rd half marathon.
And how about for you, Jay? How do you like running a half marathon?
Good.
And so, Jay, you're at Carroll Middle School, and Big Mac, you're at Hickory Center. You guys the fastest ones in your class, or what?
Yes. Yeah.
When did you realize that running was something that you were good at?
Alyssa Bailey. Way to go, Alyssa.
A lot of 7-year-olds are maybe playing on their iPads or iPhones, playing video games. When did you realize that running was fun and you were good at it?
I started running when I was 1.5, and I
1.5. I don't. Are some babies not even walking yet, and you were already running?
I would run.
So you skipped crawling. You went just to running. And how about for you, Jay?
Well, it started with our big brother, and then he inspired me to run, and then we kind of inspired her to run, so we'd all run together.
So how do you like? You said you run in 3 half marathons before. How do you like running in Fort4Fitness? So you're from Fort Wayne, so getting to run in your hometown here at the home of the TinCaps.
Cool.
It's cool, yeah. Speaking of cool, I like what you got underneath your eyes there, a butterfly in love tattoo. Are those permanent?
No.
No? And Big Mac, when you run, you say you like to run for a special cause, right?
To help the people at Riley Hospital so they can get out of there and get used to it. So every award I get, I give to them, and I hope they get better.
That is awesome. And Jay, about for you, what makes running special?
The fact that like pretty much our whole family runs, so it's kind of fun that when you can have the whole family doing something that you love.
So how's the family going to celebrate today?
Ellie Shields. Amy Kane.
Did you earn some ice cream?
Yes, we actually do that at every race I do well.
Well, I got some good Edie's here at Parkview Field. How about for you, Jay? How do you want to celebrate?
Same, but maybe sleep.
Yeah, I think you probably earned some ice cream and some sleep. So when's going to be the next world record?
Adam Warwick.
The next one I'm running is the Indy Mini again.
Yep, that's coming up soon in a couple of weeks. I bet, do you have any goals yet? Do you think you have an idea of what you want to do? And you're only 7, so you got a little bit of time to figure it out. But any goals for the future?
Amy Austin.
I want to get a gold medal in the Olympics.
How about for you, Jay?
I don't know. I just like to run for a hobby.
Well, congratulations to both of you. Hope you get to enjoy some ice cream and then a nap. And we look forward to seeing the next records that you set. It's going to be pretty soon. How many more years do you think until you're just the overall champion, not even the champion for kids?
Not many.
Not many? All right, well, we look forward to it happening, and then we'll watch both of you one day in the Olympics, all right?
Okay.
There's Big Mac and Jay, the pride of Fort Wayne here at Fort4Fitness, 7th annual edition, and got a couple of champions here who will be around for years to come.
Our coverage continues from the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival in downtown Fort Wayne at Parkview Field. And we're joined now by one of the event's original executive board members, John Baumberger. And John, thanks so much for sharing a few minutes with us during this hectic weekend. And what are your impressions of this event now in its 7th year?
Well, it's, to me, it's a community celebration and a celebration of fitness, activity. I think everyone who's participated in it has always remarked to me what a great spirit it creates in our community.
And it's expanded from being just a running race in its first few years. Now also there's a spring cycle that's part of Fort4Fitness, and you're the chairman for the spring cycle 2015. It'll take place on May 16th. What can you tell us about the spring cycle?
Well, the Spring Cycle is a wonderful event. It's an event that we innovated as the largest bicycle tour in Northeast Indiana. It's a fabulous way for people to discover and use the bicycle for fitness. It's at the beginning of the season. It's a wonderful way for people who may not have ever used the bicycle for fitness and may have never gone on a bicycle tour or a group tour. And it's a great way to learn how to do that and to see how it's very easy to do and a lot of fun.
And like the Fort4Fitness Fall Festival that we have right here, the Spring Cycle really is a collaboration of the entire community, right?
It absolutely is. Last year we had a wonderful partnership between IPFW, Arch United, and the Downtown Improvement District, Visit Fort Wayne. We all came together and made a celebration of the bicycle, art, bicycle, and music as a part of really a sort of a total wellness event for Fort Wayne.
What's special about this? What makes Fort4Fitness, whether the spring cycle or the fall festival, different from other fitness activities?
Well, I think I think the word celebration is in order, and it's also I think very approachable for people. It's a goal that people can use to achieve fitness. It is also very easy to do. You see all of your neighbors, you see all of your friends participating, and it's a way to motivate yourself to go and be a part of something bigger than yourself. And I think that that kind of celebratory participation helps people do things they might not otherwise do. And anything we can do to help with the overall fitness of the community and to help with our wellness in Northeast Indiana is going to help the community be a better place to live, and certainly a place where there are lots and lots of healthy employees, and that all helps to make a better economic environment as well.
And so as someone who's been around with this event since its inception, what are some of the better stories you've come across?
Well, last year I had the most fun because I actually ran the half marathon, and I had one of those helmet cameras on, and I ran with various pace groups. I ran behind a couple who had just gotten married, and they had, they put they had tin cans and a big "Just Married" sign on their backs, and stopped and talked to them. I also had a great time going through all of the rest stops, the water stations, where you have all these people who are excited and cheering. It was just a lot of fun. That was one of my favorite moments. A lot of times, the moments that I have, the things that make that really hit me, are when after I've finished and I'm in the finish corral, and people come up to me and say, "Oh, John, this was the greatest race. I love this race. This was a lot of fun. I had so much fun training for it and getting here, and now I've done it." And that's very exciting. It's great to be a part of a huge group of people that volunteer and make this happen every year.
And what are your duties this year?
Well, this year, my law firm, Fagerty, Baker & Daniels, sponsors the event, but we also do a water station at the at Foster Park. And we've done that every year. We have volunteers from our office staff the water station, and we get pretty excited. And we have some good cheering that goes on. This year we have music that's backing us up, so we enjoy that. I'll be helping to set that up, and then I'll serve as a course marshal for a period of time. Then we'll clean up, and then I'll probably head back down here to watch the other racers finish.
And now for someone who's watching at home today and deciding that they want to come out and run in 2015, they've still got some time to start training, but looking ahead to the spring cycle in 2015, if someone's interested and wants to get involved, what's the best way to do so?
Well, you can go to our website and you can learn about the spring cycle. You can register. We don't have registration open for 2015 quite yet, but we will shortly, and we'll certainly announce that. And then go ahead and make the commitment. You can commit to run or to ride for any number of 3 distances. One is a shorter distance, then there's a longer distance, and then an even longer distance for those who are really inspired. And we have in the spring cycle, we have lots of support on the course. It's very, very easy for someone who's never done it before to try a bicycle tour like that for the very first time. And in fact, we've found that every year so far, the first 3 years, at least 30 to 35% of the people who participate have never done a bicycle event before. So we think that's really, really good. We think that's really fulfilling our mission of getting people to try something, because once they try one of our events, we really feel that they are going to come back and do it again. And if we build that year after year, we're making for a much healthier, active community.
Well, John, thanks for sharing a few minutes with us now and for all of your contributions, both to the Fall Festival as well as the Spring Cycle. We look forward to seeing some new bikers come May.
Absolutely.
Thanks for the time.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. We'll step aside, continuing coverage of the 2014 Fort4Fitness Fall Festival in downtown Fort Wayne. It's a day of big fun and excitement in downtown Fort Wayne, the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival, and we're joined now by Mark Wolf, Marketing Director for this year's event. And Mark, it's just a tremendous day here in downtown Fort Wayne. What's special about 2014 versus the first 6 editions?
You know, it's really a lot of fun because every year we try to come up with something a little bit different to offer our participants. This year, one of the big things that we've done different is we've added a triple crown and a double play event, which basically means if you're going to run the double play, you're going to run any 2 of the 3 races that we have. We rearranged the starting times of our events so that you can run any 2 of them, or you can run all 3, which is the Triple Crown, which is 23.3 miles. If you want to do all 3 races today, we've got close to 50 people, I think, signed up to do those events, either the Triple Crown or the Double Play. So it's going to be neat to see those people cross the finish line. The Triple Crown participants actually get a special medal just for accomplishing all 3 goals in one day. Really with not much rest in between the 2 races or 3 races.
And that's nearly a marathon in itself.
Right.
But now, whether you're completing all 3 races or just perhaps the 4-mile run or walk today, something new for 2014, a way for folks to find out their times right away, right?
Yeah, the really cool thing is we've added a QR code to the race bibs this year, and if they have their smartphone or if they find their friends afterwards, if they didn't carry it with them running, because a lot of people don't, but if they're friends with them, they find them right away, they can just scan that code right off their bib and it gives them their race results instantly. So it's kind of a neat addition this year that we've never been able to do before, but the technology is kind of improving as we've been going through the years, and have that opportunity to do that this year. And I think it's just a neat addition for all the people to get their results, because everybody wants to know, hey, what was my real time? I saw the clock, but I want to know what it really was.
And another way that technology has kind of been improvised here in Fort4Fitness over the years is through social media. I know a lot of folks are sharing their stories, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
It's really cool what has been happening with social media over the years. When we started this 7 years ago, social media really wasn't around. Didn't have much opportunity to involve the people that way. And it's really kind of a neat thing to see how it has evolved, and people are telling us about their family members who their grandmother is going to run an event, and she's been training all year for it and working forward to trying to finish the race. And we hear about the people who are getting married on the course, and all these things that pop up through social media, that a lot of times some of these really cool stories, really fun things that people are doing with Fort4Fitness we wouldn't hear of otherwise. We hear about the charity partners and all their activity. They're constantly tweeting or posting on Facebook or pictures on Instagram about that kind of stuff. So it's just really neat to see it, to see all that stuff throughout the year, and then this week especially, the last couple of days here, it's been really going crazy with a lot of stuff about the race and the event. So it's exciting.
And you alluded to how there's one couple that's actually being married in the middle of the race today. Going to stop, I guess, maybe at a resting station for a moment, exchange vows, and then finish. And then there's also a couple that's going to be married later on this evening. What are some of the better stories here in this event that features folks from more than half of the states, even from some foreign countries?
Yeah, it's really cool because we do get people from so far away that travel. A lot of people who grew up in Fort Wayne, and this wasn't around when they were there, but they've been runners and they've moved to California or Florida or somewhere far away, and they plan their trips home to see their family around this event. So we've heard stories like that. We see a lot of people who have just never done anything in terms of running before, and that's really one of our big target demographics that we're trying to reach those people who've never done much exercise, so they can kind of get off the couch and get started, whether they're walking or running, how fast they go, it really doesn't matter. We just want them out there doing something to improve their health and their physical fitness. And so many of those people have done that on a regular basis. Every year we've got thousands of people who say, you know what, this is my very first time I've ever done any road race of any kind. And it's just neat to see those people making a big commitment, taking that step to do something kind of out of their comfort zone. And then they get the thrill of the finish here at Parkview Field, which is unlike any other race. Definitely in the Fort Wayne area and really in the region. There's not a lot of places where you have the opportunity to have a stadium finish that kind of gives you an Olympic feel, you know, because the crowd on Saturday morning is really amazing. There's always a lot of people here watching the finish of this race. And whether it's the first person crossing the finish line or the last person, it's always exciting to see people just cross the finish line. They reach that goal, they're excited, you know, they get that medal, and it's just a neat time.
There are about 10,000 participants in this year's Fall Festival from all different walks of life, as you allude to there. Have you seen that there are a lot of people who still are running for the first time, but then others who run for that first time, and then now they're re-signing year after year?
Yeah, definitely. There is a trend, and our numbers actually for the people who have never done it before or first-time Fort4Fitness people is actually down a little bit this year. But that's a good thing, because that's telling us that we're having a lot of people who are repeat runners. They're coming back, or walkers, and they're coming back and doing it again. So the idea of trying to get them into a healthy habit and doing things good and repeating those healthy habits is working, because we've got those people who are coming back and signing up and doing it again.
And you mentioned how the atmosphere here at Parkview Field is one thing that differentiates Fort4Fitness from similar race festivals. What do you think makes Fort4Fitness the most special race around?
Wow. I think the fact that we accept everybody. We accept everybody from the elite runners. If somebody is a highly trained runner who loves to run half marathons and is very competitive, we treat them the same way as we treat the person who's here the very first time and they've never done a running event. So we try to incorporate everybody and welcome everybody, because we want this to be wide open. You know, we don't want to restrict it and have it just be the elite runners. But at the same time, we don't want it to be just the new people. You know, the mix of those people together is really unique, I think, because we have such a wide variety. And our age is from like 4 to 83. You know, I mean, it's amazing when you see, I mean, some kids as young as 4 or 5 that take part in the kids marathon. We've got a couple who are, you know, in the 6, 7, 8 range who are doing the 4 miles. So, I mean, there's kids starting out really young, and then you see the seniors and a couple that are in their 70s or 80s that aren't just doing the senior marathon. They're running one of our other big races on Saturday. They're doing either the 4 mile or the 10K or the half marathon. So it's really neat to see that kind of a variety of people from all walks of life, all ages, and just getting out there and doing this and having fun doing it.
And so much build up to this weekend, and now that we get here, what's it feel like?
Well, it feels good that it's here, because it's exciting to see the culmination of all the work that has gone into it, and to see the look on the people's faces when they're out there and when they're running and when they're walking around getting their packets, and they're excited and they're anxious about it, and we're reading about how excited people are on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and it's an awesome opportunity, and it's great to kind of mingle with the people and get a chance to talk to some of them and just hear their stories one-on-one. And it's nice that it's finally here. Everybody looks forward to it, and then we have the weather that we're going to have this weekend. It's great.
And so we mentioned social media a couple of times for people out there who want to follow along. What's the best way to know more about Fort4Fitness?
Yeah, on Facebook, we're just Fort4Fitness. Make sure it's Fort, the number 4, Fitness, just like our name and our logo. And then Twitter and Instagram, we're at Fort4Fitness, so it's real easy to find us. You know, we've got, I think, close to 5,000 likes on our page on Facebook. We're over 1,000 followers on Twitter, so our numbers are starting to grow, and they've grown over the last couple of years. And it's just another way that we can keep in touch with people, share some of the the unique things that we can't necessarily get out to them any other way, but we can give them, kind of the real-time updates on what's going on, and if their families trying to follow them at home, we've got runner tracking, which is not really the social media side of it, but it's an opportunity for people and their families, if they want to see where their participant is at in the race. There's timing mats throughout the course, and every time they hit a timing mat, that is recorded, and it's either sent out via email or text message, and people can sign up for that on our website, Fort4Fitness.org. And it's just another method that people have where they can see how people are doing and get all that information.
So much to highlight. Any final notes or message that you'd like to share?
Well, it's just a lot of fun to have this opportunity every year to be with the people and to see the people do this, and the feeling of watching somebody accomplish their goal. And for so many people, this is it's not just a running event. It's a major goal that they have worked a long time. They've trained a lot all summer long. They've put in hours and hours of running and walking leading up to this, and to see them cross the finish line with a smile on their face, I mean, that's what makes all the work leading up to it worthwhile.
Mark Wolf, Fort4Fitness Marketing Director, thanks so much for a few minutes and for everything that you do to make this event such a success in downtown Fort Wayne.
All right, well, thank you.
Stay tuned. More coverage of the Fall Festival 2014 on Xfinity.
About 10,000 runners for this year's Fort4Fitness Fall Festival in downtown Fort Wayne at Parkview Field. Each runner has an incredible story, and we've found one of the most amazing of them all here in Rob Gerken, a 19-year volunteer firefighter, the Antwerp Fire Department. And Rob here today ran in his full gear. He's dressed down a little bit right now. Took off some of the 40 pounds of weight that he was carrying around. First off, congratulations. Thank you for your service to our community in this area over the years. And tell us, what was it like running in full gear today?
It was hot. It was hot, and I want to thank everybody that was out there supporting us along the way. It was great. There was a lot of support, and next year maybe there'll be some more firemen that will want to run in gear as well to support everybody. So
we should point out that not only did Rob just complete this race in his full firefighter gear, he did it in 2 hours and 6 minutes, which is better than the majority of the half marathon finishers here today at Fort4Fitness. Where did you get the idea to do this?
Last year I ran the Indy Mini, and I seen some guys running gear there, and I ran some 5Ks in gear, and that's what I thought it'd be great.
This was your third time running in Fort4Fitness, but the first time wearing your gear. Can you describe to us the comparison between running in normal running attire and running in your firefighter gear?
About an hour. 5 miles into it, it was just, you forget about the weight because there's so much support out there. Everybody that's supporting us along the way, it's amazing. So that was it. It was great.
What was it like getting the attention and the support of so many fans going by?
Yeah, like I said, it was overwhelming. The amount of people that were over there, the kids, hearing saying things about me, and it was great. It made me feel good.
I know you said it was 40 pounds of gear. Can you just describe what exactly you were carrying with you?
I had my air pack, my helmet. I had my everything on, so except for my boots.
So you did it in 2:06. Think it's something that you may try again?
I think so. I think we can. I think I can take 10 minutes off that. So.
Yeah. And that could be in contention for a world record. There is a record for half marathon running in firefighter gear. Any message you have out there to any of the fans watching here, and just the appreciation that they should have for the work of firefighters?
Well, yeah. Hopefully this will bring some awareness to the hard work that firemen do, and everybody, the support that they give us out on fires that we have, and I want to thank everybody for their support. So
we've held you away from your family for a bit, but what are the post-race plans? I know you're a foster parent as well as another incredible act in really making our community better.
Probably take the kids out to eat. Relax.
Well, congratulations and thank you again for everything that you do, and inspiration to so many here today. Appreciate it. One of the best stories here at this year's Fort4Fitness. Stay tuned, continuing coverage from Parkview Fields. Joined now by the champion of the women's 4 mile in the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival 2014. Kirsten Hegline. Kirsten, congratulations here, winning in a time of 25:52, a PR for you. How do you feel right now?
I feel great. It was a wonderful race, and I've only done a few 4 miles, so it was a good time. Great.
What was your strategy coming into this race?
I just wanted to hit 6:30s consistently because I didn't want to die at the end and then just try to drop people off at the end, and then also I wanted to be the first female, but it went well.
It ended up having an average split mile time of what, 6:25?
Around there, yes.
When did you realize that you were towards the front of the females?
From the start, there was a few around, and then I just tried to stay with other people around me and then take people off as I went through.
And how did you feel here today?
I felt great. It was wonderful being out on the course and all the people out there supporting everybody.
Yeah, what was that like? 4 miles, especially the area right around the ballpark, just flocked with people.
It was great, and especially with even just 2 miles to go, it was more and more people on the course cheering you on to the finish.
This was your first time, you said, running in Fort4Fitness and first time being a champion. Well, did you expect that your first time in the race?
I didn't expect it. I just wanted to do the best that I could today.
And for you, didn't run in college. You're a grade school teacher. So how do you still find a time to be such a highly competitive runner?
Well, up in Ligonier, I run with a group of guys after school every day, and it's great to have that support in a running community and everything.
About how many miles a week do you log?
Around 50 or upwards from there. Depends on how I'm racing that time of year.
Anyone who you'd like to thank who made this possible for you today?
Well, I'm sponsored by Fred Tenyas here in Fort Wayne, and just their support through running and training and everything.
What have you thought of the overall Fort4Fitness experience? See right now about to run by us from the half marathon, one of 3 military members running in full gear attire. You'll see behind us in just a moment. We had a firefighter run. It's a pretty special day here.
It was great to see everybody out there, and then I passed 3 military men on my way too. So it's great to see them out there.
Well, congratulations. Anyone else who you'd like to thank or say hi to?
Just everybody back at home and my fiance and everything for supporting me and just giving me the encouragement to get through my training and do the best that I can.
Well, Kirsten, congratulations. Hope to see you winning next year as well.
Thank you very much.
There's our female champion from the 2014 4-mile run at Parkview Field. We'll take a timeout and then we'll come back and be joined by the male winner here, a special day at Parkview Fields. Just about 10,000 runners and walkers in the Fort4Fitness Fall Festival today at Parkview Field, and the most popular race of them all, the 4 mile, about 3,000 competitors in that race alone. And we're joined now by the guy who finished first among all of them, Ryan Landis. Ryan, congratulations here in your first Fort4Fitness race. How do you feel right now?
I feel pretty good. It was a lot of fun. Good crowd to cheer for you through the course, so that always makes it a little more, it'll give you a little extra energy at the end. So.
From Decatur, what brought you out here to Fort4Fitness today?
My brother-in-law, Matt Loshi, he's a big into the running. He did the Triple Crown race today, and he said it was a lot of fun, so I came out and gave it a try today.
You gave it a try and you did pretty well.
Yeah.
Winning time about 24:02 as a 32-year-old. So describe the race for us.
I thought if I ran, 24 was what I was really shooting to run, and I thought if I did that I would be in the top 3 or so from recent results, but I kind of got out to an early lead and I just tried to keep my 6-minute pace throughout the race. Came real close. So.
When did you realize that it was your race to win?
I would say after the first mile I felt pretty comfortable. Pretty comfortable lead at mile 1 probably. So.
What was it like coming through the home stretch towards home plate here at Parkview Field behind us and running into this stadium, a full house?
A lot of fun. It was a really neat finish to the race. So you can hear the crowd was all the way around, and a lot of fun, a lot of people, and good time.
So people watching right now probably think, oh, he's competitive runners in races every weekend, training all the time. Not the case for you. Running's not necessarily your first sport.
No, I run about 2 races a summer. The 5Ks, I really like that distance, and I coach wrestling at Southern Wells High School, so I kind of got to run this summer to stay in shape for the guys when we get back into the practice room. So.
Congratulations once again. Anyone who you'd like to thank or say hi to?
I'll just say hi to my 2 little girls are here watching me, Gabby and Demi, and my little boy Drake's at home with mom, so just say hi to those guys. So.
Hopefully they're well behaved for you today. How do you celebrate a gold medal?
I think we'll probably go out to eat and do something special tonight. So.
I hope you get the steak dinner tonight, and again, that the kids behave. Congratulations here, your first Fort4Fitness, winning the 4 mile. Best of luck, hope to see you next year.
Thank you, plan on coming back, so.
Ryan Landis, our men's champion in the 4 mile run walk today at a time of 24:02. Stay tuned, more coverage of the 4 mile and all the festivities here at Parkview Field for the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival.
Jagger Boggs, Daniel Schreiber, Julianne Will, Kelly Malcolm, Kimberly Summers, Dan Palmer, Diane Nilsson, Cameron Kastner, Shai Wynn.
Back on the field in front of the finish line at Parkview Field in downtown Fort Wayne, the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival, and we're joined now by board member Brent Herring. Brent, how would you say the day's going so far? It's flying by after noon right now, so it's been going on for more than 4 hours here for our coverage, and now you've been here even longer than that.
Yeah, it makes it all worth it. It really does. You get here bright and early. I mean, you really leave when it's dark, and you get here when it's dark, and you're just running around making sure everything goes. And then at this point, you pretty much just stand at this finish line and smile. And a lot of success stories, like Bill Lane, our food and beverage guy, just finished, and he beat his time by 4 minutes. And that's the kind of stories that makes it all worth it and makes all the hard work pay off at the end.
Yeah, Bill Lane, a TinCaps employee who handles the food and beverage department here, and type of story. There's so many of them in Fort4Fitness, but changed his life, better diet now, his health far improved, and he's, as you said, hitting record times.
Yes, exactly. So that's the kind of stuff you live for with this.
What are some of the other good stories or cool stories that you've come across today hanging around the finish line?
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that you just see with the military guys wearing all their gear, the firemen wearing all their gear. I know you had some of them on the air earlier. There's a lot of just good positive stuff. A 7-year-old beating a record time by 8 minutes to run a hour 44 half marathon. It just makes you smile and makes it all also enjoyable at the end of the day. So you see, especially with the Triple Crown today, I just talked to a lady who finished the Triple Crown, big smile on her face, and I was like, how are you doing? And she was like, I'm tired, and she's just yelling, but she's got a huge smile on her face, and man, it just makes it all worthwhile at the end of the day.
You hit on it right there. Everyone has a smile on their face. I don't think we've seen anybody in Parkview Field today who's not smiling, and whether that's the satisfaction from completing a race or just the excitement of being there to cheer on a loved one or a friend.
Yes, you're exactly right. It makes it so exciting. Just the positive energy in this place is at an all-time high on Fort4Fitness Day, I always feel like.
Oh, we've talked all day about how Fort4Fitness brings this community together. It also brings couples together, and we're joined now by newlyweds, David and Kim Martin. First off, congratulations, and now can you explain to us how you just got married during a half marathon?
Oh, well, it was my idea originally, and we said, hey, we're going to go ahead and do this. She got on board, got everybody else on board, and we got married at the 7-mile marker at Foster Park at the Wedding Glen.
A Fort4Fitness first, not surprisingly, and so how does it feel to be a married couple now?
It's very exciting. I'm so happy. Yeah.
And now secondary, how does it feel to have completed a half marathon?
Oh, this is great. This is our 4th half marathon. This is the 2nd time here. Just wonderful.
Now, I understand that running half marathons and running in general runs in the family?
Yes, my mom, Barb Scroggum, she is an avid runner, marathon runner. In fact, she's ran 84 marathons, and her goal is 100, and so she's really been an inspiration.
So certainly an unconventional wedding, and you had an unconventional celebration after you had the ceremony at mile 7 and before you made it to the finish line, right?
Oh yeah, we've stopped all along the way, had champagne toasts. People were giving us champagne along the way, taking pictures. It was awesome.
So if the half marathon was the wedding, is the honeymoon now a full marathon? I guess that's what just being married is.
That is. It is a full marathon. We actually did a pre-honeymoon. We did a run up in Mackinac. It was an 8-mile run up in Mackinac around the island. So that was good.
Yeah.
What has, obviously going to have a pretty special place in your family going forward. What does Fort4Fitness mean to you?
You know, we have met some amazing people. The support has been fantastic, and they've just given us an entire they've embraced us with a ginormous bear hug, you know, throughout this whole thing. So they've really been pretty awesome. We're hoping that we can do anniversary runs from here on out through Fort4Fitness in the future. So.
Oh yes.
So as long as you know when Fort4Fitness is, you have no excuse to ever forget your anniversary.
That is very true. I never thought of it that way, but that's true.
We're gonna have to check the day. You know, Saturdays will change 1 or 2 every year, but you can't forget now.
Yeah, but we'll have the weekend down.
Well, congratulations. Pretty good time here considering today for you too, right?
Oh, that actually was. We took about, what, 20 minutes or so at the Wedding Glen.
Yeah.
Getting going again, and then getting stopped along the way. We had a fantastic time today.
I know you have a wedding party and a real celebration waiting for you. Congratulations again on the wedding and on completing a half marathon. Great accomplishments.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Just about wrapping up our coverage. Stay tuned though, not done yet. The 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival from Parkview Field in downtown Fort Wayne on Xfinity. Special day at Parkview Field in downtown Fort Wayne, the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival. About 10,000 participants running and walking in a 10K, 4-mile run, and half marathon. And it's a special day because of the people who participate in this event, and we're joined by one of them now, 2nd Lieutenant Matt Daly of the U.S. Army National Guard. And Matt, first of all, and most importantly, thanks for your service to our country. And now secondly, congratulations on completing today's half marathon. You're almost stressed down right now. You had 65 pounds of equipment when you completed the 13.1 mile run. Can you tell us how you're doing right now? How was that experience?
Oh, not too bad, just a little stiff, but just take a little time and I'll get over that. So
about 10,000 runners today and 9,000 plus were wearing normal running attire. Where'd you get the idea to be in uniform and wear your gear today?
it's something we have to do whenever we do any sort of military training, ruck marching. It's just kind of a standard practice that we do. So I'm getting ready to leave again for more training. So it'll just get me back into shape for what I need when I get ready to leave for training again.
What was the experience like here at Fort4Fitness, a race that has so many spectators along the way, and I imagine encouraging you to the finish line?
Yeah, I was definitely getting a lot of thank yous for your services and encouragements the whole way. It definitely helps keep me moving for sure. It's a big help on going this far and everything. So,
imagine it was quite laboring when you got towards the finish line, entering in the ballpark. What was that experience like?
I tried to save a little juice so I could kind of run around the outside. I was pretty well spent at that point though. It was good though. They kept cheering and everything, so that helped keep me pushing to the end.
Any message or anyone who you'd like to thank here?
Just everybody overseas. Thank you for your service, and just keep everybody in mind that's still over there deployed right now.
And where are you off to next?
Down to Fort Benning. I'll be down there for 4 months for IBOLC. So.
Well, again, thank you for your service, and thank you for providing inspiration to so many today. I know I was talking to one guy who said he was starting to walk along the 4 mile, then you started running by him, and he said, I guess I better start running again. So thank you.
Yep, thank you.
2nd Lieutenant Matt Daly here at Parkview Field, 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival, special day because of heroes like this. Who knew that 4.5 hours could go by so quickly? But alas, the 7th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival just about wrapped up here at Parkview Field. So many people to thank. Again, about 10,000 runners walking and participating in this event, as well as 1,200 plus volunteers. Not to mention all those who came out as supporters at Parkview Field today and along the race course, bringing the entire community, not only in Fort Wayne together, not only Northeast Indiana, Northwest Ohio, but people here today from 34 states, Washington, D.C., and even a couple of foreign countries. Such a magnificent day at Parkview Field, and we thank you for being along with us on Xfinity Channel 81. Before we sign off, a few thank yous to hand out. Cale DeVoe behind the camera all day, as well as the help of Jared Law, Brendan Schick, Tim Keene, and Tim Badgema. John Nolan signing off Hope you're with us again next year. Hope you're here running or walking and participating in the 8th annual Fort4Fitness Festival. Stay tuned on Fort4Fitness.org. That's Fort4Fitness.org to find out when next year's race will take place and be back here at Parkview Field with us. John Nolan saying goodbye until the 8th annual Fort4Fitness Fall Festival in downtown Fort Wayne. This has been a presentation of the Fort Wayne TinCaps on Xfinity.
This has been a TinCaps production.